fifth graders, today we're going to be adding two fractions, but these fractions have different denominators in them. So it won't be as easy as adding fractions with the same denominator. So in order to do that, we're first going to look at our word problem. Kate bought a candy bar. By the time she got home, she had 2/3 of it left. Her neighbor Jack had the same size candy bar, and he gave her 1/4. How much of a candy bar does Kate have now? Well, we know that Kate started off with 2/3 of a candy bar. And we know that she also then received 1/4 of the same size candy bar from her neighbor Jack. And so with my counters, I'm going to first use a set model for concrete. And so since we know that we have the fraction 2/3, I'm going to make 3 columns. And then since I know I have the fraction 1/4, I'm going to make 4 rows. 2, 3, 4. So there's 1. And I want to try to show 2/3 from this one set. And so I see one group here, and one group here, all going vertically. So I'm just going to turn these counters over to show my 2/3. And the relationship between the 2 and the 3 is that my 3 are 3 different groups. My 3 is not the whole, which is a common misconception that students have. The whole is broken up into 3 different parts, which is where I get my 3 groups that are going vertically down. And then the 2, the numerator, that tells me how many of the parts of the whole that I am interested in. And so here, in this case, we have 2 of the 3 parts that we are interested in. So now I'm going to make a second set, and this one I'm going to have to represent my 1/4. And so again, I'm going to make 3 columns because I have 2/3, and then I'm also going to make 4 rows because I have 1/4. So there is my set. 4 rows, 3 columns. And so I see that I have 4 rows going horizontally. And so I'm interested in one of those groups. So I'm going to turn one of these groups over just to show. So now I see that I have my 2/3 and I have 1/4. But now I have to add these together. Well, since we know that we have 3 columns, 4 rows, we can know that we have 12 objects in our one set. But what do you notice about these 3 here, these 3 yellow counters, and then these 4 red counters? I can easily move these counters out of the way and then put these over here to show my 2/3 plus my 1/4. And so now, since I know that I have 12 objects in one set, and I'm interested in all of them but one, I know that now I have 11/12 of a candy bar, or Kate has 11/12 of a candy bar left. And so that is my set model. So now I'm going to move on to my area model, which is representation. And so I'm going to use graph paper because that is going to help me make my fractions very precise. Being precise with fractions is really, really important. And so similar to my set model, I'm going to make 3 columns and 4 rows. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and so here is my one whole. This is like one whole candy bar. And so the first candy bar that Kate had, she had it split up into 3 equal-sized parts. So I'm going to split this into 3 equal-sized parts. All right, so this is 3 equal-sized parts. So what was the fraction I had was 2/3, so I'm going to write it at the top just so I remember what it is. And how many of these equal-sized parts am I going to color? I'm going to color in 2 of them because my fraction is 2/3. 1 and 2. All right, 2/3 are colored in. So this area model represents my 2/3. But now, since I'm adding, I have to make another area, similar to my set model. And I'm going to, again, make them 3 columns and 4 rows. But this time, since I want this fraction to be 1/4, I can't obviously split it up into 3 columns, so I'm going to make it into 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then how many of these equal sized parts am I interested in? I'm interested in one of them, so I'm going to shade in 1/4. So there's my 2/3 plus my 1/4. Well, these areas are not looking the same, so I have to make them the same. So I'm going to split my 3 equal sized parts and I'm going to add in 4 rows to that to make it similar to this one. So I'm going to add in 4 rows to my 3 column area model. And then I'm going to do something similar with this one. Since I already split this one into 4 rows, I'm going to make this one into 3 columns. And so now my areas are going to look exactly the same. And so now that I have them all split up, I'm going to make a third one, and this one is going to be my area. Or this one is going to be my answer for my area. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 columns, 4 rows, because I have 2/3 and 1/4. And so I'm going to make this answer area model look exactly like how I did with these two. So I'm going to have them in 3 columns and 4 rows. And so are these fractions, if I color in 2/3 of this one, are they going to be the exact same? Well, let's see. At first I colored in 2 of the 3 pieces, but then I split those 3 pieces into, now I have 4 rows. So that changed my piece sizes. And so I'm going to color in, let's see, we have, how many units do we have colored in? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now I'm going to color in 8 of these unit squares the same color, like my 2/3. 6, 7, 8. So are these two the same? Well, they are, because even though I'm not coloring them in the same exact way that I colored these ones in, I'm looking at the same number of pieces. So these two are still the same, and they are equivalent. These area models are equivalent. And so at first I only cut in this area model into 1 piece, but then I split that into 3 rows. So that now means that I have 3 units in here colored in. So I'm going to color in 3 units. So now I have these 2 areas, and I have them basically on top of each other is what this is shown here. And I colored in all the respective pieces. So again, I am looking at the whole area. I know that I have 3 columns, 4 rows. So therefore, I know that my denominator would have to be 12. And I'm looking at all of the pieces except for one of them. So then I'm looking at 11 of the pieces. So Kate had 11/12 of a candy bar left. I think it stopped. Oh, no, it didn't.